Welcome everybody to Cowboy Leather and Shoe Repair. I got a little something I want to pass on to people. Now, what I'm going to say is my opinion. I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus or change your mind on anything that you don't feel comfortable in doing. And I'm going to tell you what I've run across. I follow some of these leathercraft kind of forums, chat rooms, and I see a lot of people that are, commenting or writing in that their edges, they've sanded them, they've varnished them, they've done everything, to make them glass smooth. Then they come along and they want to put their edge paint on, and they're finding that the edge paint is chipping off or peeling off. Well, some people will tell them, hey, don't do this until you've edge painted and whatever. Well, what I'm seeing, or my opinion, like I said, this is just me, is the edge paint, after you've varnished it, you've sanded it, you've revarnished it, you put your wax and whatever you use on your edges, that is making that edge way too slick. It's paint. Paint needs kind of a porous surface to adhere to. I mean, it's like, you buy a can of spray paint at the hardware store. Read the directions. It says clean, suggest roughing up the area that you want to paint. So the edge paint is pretty much the same thing. It's going to dry hard. It's not a flexible paint. I've tried it. Yes, I've had the problem. So I've got something here in the shop that I use for when I replace leather soles on boots or shoes. I go through all the motions, grind them down, get them ready, and I use, let me get that up closer. That's what I use. It's a heel and sole varnishing ink. Now, I put it. It says put it on with a clean dauber. Let it dry, and then basically buff it, varnish it, and when I get done doing that, I don't take a slicker and slick them. I just put them on my finisher over there. Yeah, it's over there. And I've got a brush, or I got a fabric wheel. Well, that buffs them out. I mean, it brings up a nice glass finish. Now, if you think about it, this stuff on shoes, if it's made for shoes, shoes take quite a beating. It doesn't peel off, and it basically, gets dull, but it doesn't peel off. Now, just for the heck of it, I took, this is a stirrup hobble, stirrup turn piece of leather, and I just edged it. I clicked it out, edged it, and just put some of that on there. And I don't know if you can pick it up, but look at the gloss on that. That's maybe between edging and putting that on, letting it dry. Well, actually, I cheated a little bit. I used my heat gun to dry it. that's less than 5 minutes to bring up what people will sit and spend an hour trying to accomplish. And that edging is not going to chip off of there. See, that's a coaster. So that's going to be probably introduced to water. God knows whatever else. But that's, if you notice, I don't know if you can see it. See the shine on that? That's 5 minutes. Compared to, what, an hour? Trying to, go through all your steps of edging and varnishing and using your wax or your gum Trujicon and everything else. I can do the same thing with this as everybody does, and again, 5 minutes. Now we all know that chrome tan does not like to be edged, does not like a whole lot done to it, but you put a little bit of that on there, and actually that's got wax in it. It doesn't tell exactly what it's got in it, but it's an edge ink, so it's got some sort of a dye to it, and wax. I don't know if you can see it, but that shined it up, and if you move over, you can see the fuzzies. So, yeah, you can't edge this, but you can put a little bit of that on there, excuse me, and make your edges look a little slicker. But, this is what I do. It works. We use it on shoes. I use it on my leather products, on the edge of bags and stuff like that, holsters, and it's basically a one-step procedure. Now there's something else that I find kind of curious. People, for some reason, think that the only thing out there is natural veg tan. This is a piece of 12-ounce natural veg tan. Now, that's fine and dandy, but what you do if you're, if you want to take this natural veg tan and you want it to be brown, you got to dye it. Now, I've seen people even question, well, how do I get the splotches out of it? How do I get the evenness? The more you play with this. Now, if you're making, 2 or 3 of these, that's fine. Or if you've got a customer that wants them in natural veg tan. But if I use, this is not harness leather, but this is veg tan, but it's dyed from the tannery. It's already there. And if I were to cut this, it's brown all the way straight through. So, if you're in this game to make money, time is money. If you have to take this, let's just say you're making a holster out of, your veg tan. You got to dye it, let it dry, sometimes buff it. If you've got splotches or uneven color, you got to come back and re-dye it. How long does dyeing and drying take? You take something that's already been tanned from the tannery, you cut your holster out, you do your tooling, you run some glue on it, stitch it. Let's just say it takes you 2 hours to take a piece of veg tan natural to make a holster. That's cutting it, dyeing it, doing it, everything else. If you're using something that's already got dye on it or in it, and you can wet this and you can tool it. there's an example. I don't know if you can see it. That's brown. That's cut out of, oh, there we go. I sprayed some water on it, let it sit for a couple minutes. Yeah, it's going to bead, the water's going to bead up a touch, but it's absorbing in. No, the stamping is not perfect. But you can stamp it. You can stamp this just like you've stamped this and tooled it. You know, if you're doing it for a hobby, fine. Keep buying your veg tan natural and dyeing it and doing whatever you want to do. But if you're in this leather work to make money and get your products out there, time is money. And the more time you put into it, the more it's going to cost. And people are known to be cheap. You know, they'll, oh, well, I can go down here to Joe Blow and I can get one cheaper. Or they can get one out of China cheaper. So, when you're doing this, picking out your leather, think about it. Do I want to dye it? Or do I want to get the project done and out to the customers? You know, if you're making, like I say, if you're making holsters to sell on eBay or any of these other places, you want to get them made and out. And you will find, like, you may run into a possibility where somebody sees one of your holsters, the one that you took the picture of goes out the door, and your next one out the door is it's different color. It's brown, but it's a different shade of brown, or it's not consistent. They throw a temper tantrum. So if you want to stay consistent, my suggestion is, if you're going to make brown holsters, get whatever, I mean, it comes in all sorts of colors of brown. So you can get chestnut, you can get, you know, pick a color brown, and you can get it in there. You can even get it in British tan brown. So basically where I'm trying to get at is, you know, if you want to cut your time and keep your edges, you might think about going to a edge wax, and it works just as good as the edge paint. And if shoe repair facilities use it and they don't have any trouble with it, you shouldn't have any trouble with it on your leather goods. And it even says on here for shoes, soles, heels, leather dyes or leather dyeing, and it's reliable wax varnishing ink for varnishing leather, heels, shanks, and edges of boots and shoes. And it's made by Fibbing. I use it. This is what is it? This is black. I've got it in 2 or 3 different shades of brown. Now, if you don't want to use the liquid, they got another thing out that I use quite a bit, and I got it over there on the finisher. It's called Yankee Wax. Same thing, but only it's in a stick form, and you just kind of rub it on your edge, rub it on your buffer, rub it on your varnisher, and just done. Basically, it's a one-step deal, and it brings your edges up to a glass finish, seals everything up. Now you've got your edge color in there, and you're ready to rock and roll. So it just, like I said, it works for me. It might be something to think about. You know, if you're going to make a lot of products and you want to cut your time back, instead of going out and getting the natural veg tin, get the veg tin saddle skirting or whatever that's already been pre-dyed. You'd be surprised how much more money you might make and cut out some of the headaches. So, that being said, I hope everybody had a good weekend, and I'm going to get back to work here. I just was sitting here doing up some edges on some stuff, and I thought I'm going to just make a video on this and let people know that there's other alternatives in here, or here, to finishing off your edges. I'm not saying don't keep, varnishing and what you're doing, but remember, the more you put on there, your paint may not stick. So, with that said, hope everybody has a good day, has a good week, and Cowboy's out of here. I'm going to try and do some work. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.